My name is Kurt01. I've been studying persuasion for the last 15 years. I teach it at a collegiate level. I've read over 100 books, 1,000 studies, and I apply it every day, thousands of hours of applications. And I call these the laws of persuasion, magnetic persuasion, or the call to action. Now, just like the law of gravity, it always works. And if you apply these in the right way, the laws of persuasion, you'll be able to create a call to action, a sense of urgency so incredible that people will beg you for your product. And I also call them the weapons of influence. They are weapons, and I pray that as I teach you these things today that you'll use them for good. They are weapons. You can use them for good or evil because they work. And so I encourage you to take some great notes today, and I'll show you exactly how it works because it is the art and science of instant influence. I'm going to talk about the science today, exactly how it works, and the art is up to you, how you apply it, how you mold it to your life, to your marketing, to your writing, and to your research. And what we want you to do is get your customers to beg for your product. And, of course, win customers for life, because that's what it's all about. Now, there's a direct relationship. There's a one-to-one correlation between your ability to persuade and your income. And so we want to spend some time showing you exactly how that works, because less than 1% of the people in this world even know these techniques. Your average person might know 5 or 6, 7 of these techniques, tools. There's over 100. And generally, they'll use 3 or 4 of them on a daily basis. Now, if you look at the keys of the piano of persuasion, okay, most people only know a few notes, and they're playing chopsticks. And what I want to do is give you Mozart, give you all the tools so you can customize them to your group and to your audience. Now, let me start off with just a fable. The sun and the wind are bitter enemies, and they don't like each other. And they're always competing with each other, saying who's stronger, who's better. And the wind tended to be a little cocky and told the sun that he is the most powerful element in the universe. He is the most powerful. He can destroy cities with hurricanes. He can destroy towns with his wind. And the sun said, well, you know, I'm a valuable part of the universe too. He says, but nobody's more powerful than the wind. And so they decided to have a little contest. And so the wind asked the sun to pick a contest. And so the sun looked down on the earth and he saw an elderly man walking down the street. He says, all right, if you can get that man, if you can blow off that man's jacket, get that man to take off his jacket, you are the most powerful element in the universe. So the wind was kind of cocky, and he's invited his friends, the rain and the clouds. They all came in, and they blew. The wind blew and blew, and harder the wind blew, the man grabbed his jacket, held on tighter, and resisted, and he resisted, and he resisted. And he tried, and he tried, and he couldn't. He even knocked down the man, but he would not take off his jacket. And the sun kind of smiled and says, now it's my turn. Clouds left. The rain started to evaporate. The sun got brighter, brighter, warmer, and warmer. You can see the small beads of perspiration on the old man's head. The old man just took off his jacket. And that's persuasion. If people know your tactics, if they know what you're doing, they will resist you. They will resist you. And that's why you need to use the true forms of persuasion where people will want to do what you want them to do and like it. Less than 1% knows these actual techniques. And persuasion is the call to action, and we need to learn to apply these tools. It's a new world out there. Times have changed. Aristotle, who wrote The Art of Rhetoric, talked about ethos, pathos, and logos, but you have a different beast today. Your consumer, your prospect, is better educated, more skeptical, and has access to more information than ever before. Now your consumer, when they hear about your product, they can go online, they can find your competitors, they can find other price points, they can find exactly what you're doing. Car dealerships have the same problem. Before, it didn't matter what they charged for a car. Now people come in with information as far as comparables, manufacturer sticker price, what the car actually costs them. So your consumer is also being bombarded with messages every day. 5,000, according to Advertising Age magazine, 5,000 messages a day are bombarded your prospective clients. Internet, radio, TV, magazines, whatever it is, they're hitting it. And what we need to do is have you stand out and what I call magnetize your message. Just like iron filings come to a magnet, we want to magnetize your message and create magnetic persuasion. So let me give you a few definitions of how this works. Persuasion is what you do and what you say. This is what we're talking about today, the 12 laws of persuasion. Influence is who you are, okay? Passion, credibility, trust. Power, there's 5 forms of power that we won't have time to get to today. Increase your ability to persuade and influence. And motivation, that's what we're looking for today, that call to action, where people actually run and beg for your products. So let's talk about the hierarchy of persuasion, just to give you a foundation on how persuasion works. Because persuasion will make you better parents, better coaches, better managers, and everything we do in life revolves around persuasion. There's different ways to do that. And sometimes the world has a negative perception about persuasion because some people just do it the wrong way. And I want to show you the different ways to do it. There's the 5 C's of persuasion. The first is control. Fear, force, and threats. Anybody can put a gun to your head and persuade you to do something. It's the very lowest form of persuasion. People do it because it's easy and it doesn't take much effort, but it causes remorse and it causes resentment. And it's very short term. The next is coercion. Another low form of persuasion, pressure, manipulation, and intimidation. In fact, let me give you an example. Let's say you're a vice president of a large corporation. The president invites you in, says, I want you to get every employee to donate $100 to this new charity. I don't care how you do it, just get it done. I don't want to hear about it again. So you could use control and fear and threats with the employees and say, look, if you don't donate, I can't be responsible for what happens to your house. Okay? That would work, right? But it's very short term. You could use coercion, right? You could come up to them and say, look, your evaluation's coming up in a month. If you don't donate $100, you won't get a good evaluation. You won't get a raise. You won't get a promotion. Okay? Resentment. People don't like that. It doesn't last, and it's very short term. I want to talk about the top 3, and that includes our 12 laws of persuasion. The first is compliance, offering incentive, rewards, or benefits. You could come to an employee and say, look, I need $100 for this charity. If you donate $100, I'll give you an extra 2-week paid vacation next year. Simple, everybody wins. It's utility. Next one is cooperation, convincing, encouraging, or coaxing, actually selling them on the idea that this is a great charity, it's to your best benefit, you're really going to help out in the community, please donate $100. And the top, which is actually a form of influence, which is long-term, is commitment. In this form, you don't even have to be around for it to work. It comes from respect, honor, and trust. And you come to the employee and say, look, I need you to donate to a charity, and the employee says, how much, and who do I write the check to? Because they know who you are, they know what you represent, and they know that you would not ask them to do something that wasn't worth their while. And that's what we're looking for. At least the top 3, compliance, cooperation, and commitment. So let's get into the laws of persuasion, how they work, the automatic triggers, and why these laws work. The reason these laws work is we don't want to spend time and energy to process every decision. We create mental shortcuts, knee-jerk reactions. And our minds get stuck on cruise control. Joseph Sugarman, a master marketer, said 95% of the reasons we buy involve a subconscious decision. Just feels right. We want to do it. And that's the type of triggers we're working for in persuasion to receive that call to action. The first law, and I'm going to go over 12 of them real briefly. Leon Festinger, 1957, Stanford University, came up with a theory of cognitive dissonance. Okay? People feel an internal pressure to act consistent with their beliefs, attitudes, and commitments. Dissonance is a discrepancy between what we think and feel and what we actually do. And as master marketers, you need to create that dissonance, that discrepancy, because this dissonance is awkward, unpleasant, and uncomfortable and creates psychological tension. We can't live with it when we feel this dissonance. In fact, we will do things that we don't want to do to get rid of this dissonance. Okay? Let me show you how that works. Some examples. Marty in 1975 did a landmark study on a New York City beach. Wanted to test what commitments would do to people when they felt that dissonance, that discrepancy between their thoughts and their actions. He went to a beach, had someone place a towel 5 feet away from somebody else, and put down a radio and walk away. And they had an accomplice, a Confederate, come and steal the radio. And they wanted to see how many people in New York City would go after this thief. And out of 20 people, 1 person went after the thief, 5%. So they changed it around just a little bit. They went to there and they put down the towel and the radio. They looked the person in the eye and said, could you please watch my things? And people say, well, sure, I'll watch your things. Walks off. Here comes the Confederate. The accomplice steals the radio. 19 out of 20 people ran after a thief, did something they didn't want to do because they made that commitment. Very powerful law. Because when you show inconsistency,